Welcome in the Money podcast for KeenelandSelect.com. I'm Tom Leach, along with Keeneland's director of Simulcasting, Jim Goodman, and big weekend. We've got great ones all over the place. Arlington, Saratoga, Del Mar, and we will start with the Arlington Million Day card, and we're going to handicap 4 of the stakes races. 3 of them are grade 1s. The first one we'll take a look at is the 7th race. It's ungraded. They just started it 2 years ago. It's the mile and 11/16 St. Ledger Stakes for 3-year-olds and up on the turf course, and it was a Euro Invader that won it last year, Jackleberry. Are you going Euros again this year?
I think so. I really like Dark Cove, the inside horse with Rosario, but I don't like the weight with 126 versus 119 on Dandino and also Wigmore Hall. So I flipped a coin between those two, but I went back into their past performances, and Dandino has run better than Wigmore Hall. So I'm going to take him on top with a shot for Dark Cove to get second. Dandino ran really well in the Grade 1 Canadian last fall, so I think the Euros probably are better than the American horses in here. I give Dark Cove a chance simply because of Rosario, Maker, and Ramsey. They could have a really big day on Saturday, but I'm going to take the Euro a little bit by just a touch over Dark Cove.
I'm going to take Dark Cove only because I'm thinking they'll pound the Dandino, and maybe you may get somewhere close to the 3-1 on Dark Cove. If it's pretty close in the wagering, then I don't think I'd play Dark Cove. But based on what I think is going to happen, I'm going to pick Dark Cove. Just he does seem to be in peak form, and they're on the rail. So I'm going to use him with Dandino, Wigmore Hall, and the Jar in exactas. Not a great betting race because it doesn't look like there's any big prices that can find their way in there. But I think you could see some different things happen in some of these other Grade 1s. So let's move on to the 8th race, the Grade 1 Secretariat for 3-year-olds on the turf, going 1.25 miles, and big fields for these races, which is nice to see, and a lot of Euro influence. Where did you land in the Secretariat?
Well, the obvious choices are going to be Riddleluck and Jack Milton. I really like Jack Milton here because he should have won the Virginia Derby. Had a really tough trip, was steadied at the top of the stretch, and Velasquez did a great job to almost get him up. Just barely got beat by War Dancer. Riddleluck beat him in the Penn Mile, and Riddleluck came back in Virginia Derby and didn't run very well, but I don't think he liked the soft turf. He may catch a little bit of a soft turf at Arlington this weekend. Hopefully the weather will stay better. If it does, I think it's a more fair race. The horse that I like at a price, though, I'm going to take Jack Milton for on top, but a horse that I like to get in the money is Stormy Lynn. This horse is 15-1 morning line. Alex Leach rides, comes out of the American Derby at Arlington. A really good effort. Just got beat by a head. Admiral Kitten and Infinite Magic finished in front, but came 4 wide and really finished up well. And I think this may set up well for the 1.25 miles. So I'm going to take Stormy Lynn at a price to get the money, but Jack Milton is my pick.
Jack Milton's my pick, too. I loved him in that last race, and I thought he was much the best, and was just a crush. When if he'd just gotten second, I would have got out even, maybe, and he got nosed out to third. But he's had 3 good works since then, and I think 1.25 miles may be his best distance. So Jack Milton, for me, I like him a lot, and so I'm hoping that I can find a little bit of a price underneath. I'll play several exactas with Jack Milton on top, but the price horses that I like, Stormy Lynn is one of them. I think he's got a big shot to run big. Tattenham intrigues me because this horse is coming out of an allowance race, and Bill Mott's throwing him into this spot. That's a bold move for Mott, who doesn't do that a lot. And Draw 2, who I thought ran decent in the race behind Jack Milton, War Dancer, and that group in the Virginia Derby, and could be finishing strong out in the middle of the track at a decent price. So try those 3 under Jack Milton, and Jack Milton for the win bet. I'll play him in doubles to probably multiple horses in the Beverly D, which we will look at next, the 9th race on the card at Arlington, another Grade 1. Marketing Mix going to be the big favorite in here. Very impressive in her 2 starts this year. I'm going to go with Gifted Girl. Looking for a little bit of a price. Getting Lasix, coming over from across the pond and in good form. Good value, and I don't know if she can win, but I'm just thinking I was looking for a price in this race that could finish first or second. So I kind of settled on Gifted Girl and using her with Dank, the 4, 6 marketing mix, and 7 Duntle. But I'll have Jack Milton tied up to doubles to probably all 4 of those. What about you?
I couldn't separate the Europeans, but I think marketing mix is a single in the Big Four. And I'm going on the race that Tis Flirtatious ran last weekend at California at Del Mar, and she was just unbelievable, pounded that field, and she finished behind marketing mix in the Gamely. I just think that Proctor's got this mare ready, and I think she is the best horse in the race. I don't know about the Europeans. I looked at their time form ratings. I looked at that. Nothing really jumps out at me. Duntle is probably my second choice simply because she's been racing against better in France and Great Britain. So I'm going to take marketing mix, and I'm going to single her in all the exotics.
Let's go to the 10th race, the Grade 1 Arlington Million, 1.25 miles, 3-year-olds and up. And nice big field in here. Where did you land?
Well, I've got on here the first words, Wide Open Million. This one's one, if you've got a good opinion like I have on marketing mix and like you and I both have in the previous race on Jack Milton, this is the one where you spread and try to get a price in the Pick 4 because I got no idea. I mean, I picked out 3 horses, but I'm not fond. Little Mike just laid an egg in Dubai, and I hate horses that come back from Dubai. I just completely throw them out. But Dale Roman says Little Mike's working well, and this is a race he won last year on his way to the Breeders' Cup. So, you can't toss him, but I don't like horses coming back from Dubai. I think it takes so much out of them. I guess the best horse that I like is the Apache, who did race well in Dubai, and Michael DeCock knows how to bring a horse from Dubai back over here and have him ready. And Real Solution is probably because he ran just behind Point of Entry in the Manhattan. But this race is wide open. It is an absolutely outstanding betting race. And the only horse that it would surprise me, I don't think Nate's Mineshaft fits here very well. And I don't think a couple of others, but I could make a case for 10 horses here, including Roddy Strada, who's 12-1 on Morning Line, coming off a win on this track in the Arlington. So I can make a case for all of them.
I ended up on the Apache as well. DeCock is just such a sharp trainer, and coming over in this spot, I think suggests confidence. I look at that last race, and it just looks like a classic setup for a big effort in this spot. So that's the one for me is the Apache, and then I didn't really like the Americans much, so I kind of think this is going to be Euros. And I ended up with Grandeur 13, 9 Guest of Honor, 8 Mull of Kilo, and just going to really work around the Europeans and hope to find a nice price in there. And if we're right on Jack Milton, this is where you maybe get the sweet in the pot for the Pick 4 a little bit. And I'll use marketing mix and 1 or 2 others maybe in the multiple race wagers, but. I think, unlike you, this is hard to have a real strong opinion on in the Million, which makes for a great wagering opportunity if you can be on the right one.
Yeah,
Let's go to Saratoga. A couple of Grade 1s there. The 9th race is the Grade 1 Sword Dancer, 3-year-olds and up at 1.5 miles. And nice field in here. The horses that certainly could be capable of running in the Million going in here. Grade 1 winners like Boisterous and Big Blue Kitten. How did you see this one?
Boisterous is probably going to be favorite off the Man of War. He doesn't have any experience at the distance. Has one race at 1.5 miles, and I always try to look at that. So I'm kind of leaning against him, even though he's probably going to be 2-1, 5-2. I went with Twilight Eclipse, 2 for 2 at 1.5 miles. Albertrani, Castellano, I think is they're very tough together, and Castellano is riding really well right now. So, not a big vote of confidence, but I think Twilight Eclipse might be coming back to his Pan American form from March, and I give him a chance to turn the tables on Boisterous. And Big Blue Kitten is obvious. He should take to the stretch out and should love the 1.5 miles. He hasn't been this far either, but they've got a progression. His races this year: 1 mile and 1/16, 1 mile and 8, 1 mile and 3/8. Now he's going 1.5 miles. So it's just obviously they were pointing for this, and Chad Brown is so good right now. So I think Big Blue Kitten has a big shot. I'm going to take Twilight Eclipse just barely.
I ended up with Optimizer, just in large part because it loves Saratoga. Last race was not very good, but his best race could put him in the mix, and he does seem to run some of his best races at Saratoga. Got some good tactical speed, and he's had 3 works since that dull race last time. So I would use him with Big Blue Kitten and Boisterous. And Alkali is a horse that I just kind of runs a big race sometimes when you don't expect it. And just on that idea in a race that I don't have a real strong opinion on, I would play around with him a little bit as well. But Optimizer is going to be the pick for me. The 10th race at Saratoga is the Grade 1 Alabama. Princess of Sylmar going to be the big favorite here. And 3-year-old fillies going 1.25 miles, race with a lot of history. And can you beat Princess of Sylmar off that prep in the CCA Oaks?
Only if Castellano falls off. I can't see. She's her buyers are way better than anything else in here. 50 Shades of Hay is obviously a quality filly, and Bafford's taken her to Prairie Meadows and Pimlico and has won 2 graded races there. But she couldn't win the Santa Anita Oaks. She couldn't beat Beholder out on the West Coast, and I don't know that she can beat Princess of Sylmar at Saratoga. I think it's a cold exacta. Princess of Sylmar over 50 Shades of Hay, and it might get you 560 back.
I'm going to try 50 Shades of Hay. She's the only one I could see that maybe could get her, and it doesn't seem to be the thing that kind of convinced me to go that route is there's not a whole lot of speed in here, so maybe she can just sit right off of it, get the jump on Princess of Sylmar at the top of the stretch, and perhaps hold her off. But not real confident in that happening. But for the price, I would play it that way and then turn it around the other way, and I guess be satisfied with what you get if Princess of Sylmar does come out on top. The other one we want to take a look at is also a Grade 1 out west. It's the Del Mar Oaks, 8th race on their card for 3-year-old fillies at 1 mile and 1/8 on their turf course. And nice race here. Some horses coming from the east to really sweeten the pot here. And I ended up with Sirac, horse I think I picked last time. Started to pick Kitten's Dumplings, started to pick Discreet Mark, horses that are coming from the east. And then I thought, Sirac is the kind of horse that in this spot could drift up a little bit with those others in here. I think he can maybe get first run on some of these like I thought 50 Shades of Hay might be able to do. I think maybe stretching out to 1.25 miles wasn't her best game last time, so she shortens back to 1 mile and 1/8 here. And I think she's a good horse it's what's going to be a good price for Dick Mandela. So I will gamble that she could hold him off and take Sirac to win and use her in exactas with Discreet Mark, Kitten's Dumplings, and Emotional Kitten. What about you?
I like the horses that you mentioned, but I also like a price a little bit better. And this is a flyer because Wishing Gate on the inside for Tom Proctor. Proctor's won 3 races at Del Mar already. He's 29% with Garrett Gomez, and Gomez had his little break with his personal issues, but he's back riding now and riding very well. And I'm going to take Wishing Gate because I think you're going to get a great price on her. And the other horses, Emotional Kitten has a real shot. I think Doing Hard Time again, if you throw out the last race, just as something, they tried her on the poly. She ran on the poly track a couple of times at Hollywood Park, but apparently didn't like the Del Mar poly track. And back on turf here, and I think she's got a shot. I like Kitten's Dumplings. If I had to pick one horse, if somebody put a gun in my head and said, bet $10, I'd bet Kitten's Dumplings, but you're not going to get much of a price on her. So I'm going to take a flyer on Wishing Gate, and I'm going to actually watch this race in person, as a matter of fact,
yes,
in Del Mar this weekend.
Enjoy your visit to Del Mar, and we'll be interested to hear your tales of wagering glory when you come back.
Yeah,
by the way,
sure.
you had Sanine Girl last week, so nice call there. I don't think I had much of anything to crow about, but Sanine Girl was a nice winner for you in our picks last week.
The other thing I had last week, though, I keyed Den's Legacy second. Remember that?
Oh, that's right, in the La Jolla.
Yeah, he ran second for the eighth time out of 15, and unfortunately, I didn't have all the horses around him, but he did run second at I think it was 20 to 1 or something.
Nothing if not consistent for Den's Legacy.
That's right. Go for Den's Legacy, with Den's Legacy with all next time, I guess.
For the simulcast patrons coming out to the track, anything they need to know about?
It's a nice day on Saturday. A lot of good racing everywhere, and been beautiful weather out here. It's a great day to come out and just hang out in the paddock. We've got all the betting windows open on the first floor for self-serve. We've got a couple of clerks down there, and it's just a nice, beautiful time of year to be at Keeneland. It doesn't feel like August out here, but the racing's great on Saturday. We have happy hour prices on Friday night, and remember, we're open on Mondays for Saratoga all the way through Labor Day.
And usually some great racing on those Monday cards. So, Jim, travel safely, enjoy your trip, and best of luck with your wagers, and best of luck to all of our listeners of the In the Money podcast here at KeenelandSelect.com.